A trip around the world to support the cause of environmental protection. That's the mission of Pangaea, a vessel built for a specific purpose. Pangaea was a continent, the world as it once was 250 million years ago. Mike Horn is protecting ecosystems around the world. He started in 2008 together with young adults from every continent called the Young Explorers. Their motto, explore, learn, act.
My way of doing this project is to be an example to these kids.
The first stage takes Mike Horn, the Young Explorers, and the Pangaea to Antarctica. The expedition starts in Ushuaia, the southernmost town of Argentina. For the Young Explorers, the greatest adventure of their lives starts here.
When we go to Antarctica, you have the ice. You don't have people, but you have the penguins, you have the whales. You have something very special that they can't find anywhere else in the world. And taking the youth there, you don't have to speak about it. Nature speaks by itself.
At the peak of one of the glaciers, the Young Explorers are given the important task of taking snow samples. The snow crystals tell about the development of the ice and the consequences of global warming. After 10 days of ice and snow, the Pangaea is heading towards its next destination. In the meantime, in Swiss Chateau d'Ay, the future Young Explorers are chosen and put to the ultimate test.
I don't think I've ever been this exhausted in my life.
They also learn how to live eco-minded, for example, by driving an emissions-free and sustainable car, the B-Class F-Cell.
You think like it's only water coming out and you're like, what's the right-of-way here?
The F-Cell transfers the idea of the Pangaea to the streets. The young people are also learning all they need to know how to survive on their own in the wild.
Passion, passion and passion. If you have passion and you're ready to learn, you can reach any goal.
The Pangaea's next destination, New Zealand. Thanks to special permission from the government, the Pangaea is allowed to sail through untouched fjords of New Zealand.
The fjordlands of New Zealand is one of the most beautiful ice-cut fjordlands in the world. And why we actually came to New Zealand was to show the beauty of untouched nature to the youth that came aboard Pangaea.
During the trip through the fjord Dusky Sound, the Pangaea is followed by dolphins. One of the tasks of the Young Explorers is to observe the behavior of these largest of bottlenose dolphins in the world. On Coal Island, the Young Explorers put up new stoat traps in order to protect the birds. Rodents have already driven over 40 different kinds of bird species to extinction. Another task for the Young Explorers is to measure the levels of salinity in the water for scientific research. From New Zealand, the Pangaea sails on to Malaysia. In Malaysia, the Young Explorers build a model airplane which is used to try and restore coral reefs underwater.
We are about to go underwater to put down our plane structure, and it's like a house reef, so it should make a reef should grow on it, and then we'll get fish back.
Coral on the Borneo coast were destroyed by illegal fishing methods which used dynamite.
Where these young explorers go in and they spend hours underneath for the coral to regrow. To them, they're really doing something.
The Young Explorers placed the model airplane 8 meters underwater.
We got the plane down on the sand and nothing really went wrong. It was quite surprising, so it looks great.
The Young Explorers fulfill their mission, explore, learn, act in Malaysia. Next stop is India. The new group of Young Explorers in India has to adapt fast to the fact that life aboard Pangaea is no holiday but hard work. The Young Explorers get started right away on their first environmental mission.
Use plastic for the future and there will be no future.
For hours, the Young Explorers clean up plastic trash on a beach. Then the trash is compacted and stored for recycling aboard the Pangaea.
And now it is our turn. We've come to a stage where we have to start acting and make a difference, because we are the future generations that are able to do all of this.
The next day, the Pangaea sails onto a new adventure. Barren Island is an active volcanic island in the middle of the Andaman Sea. Suddenly, the volcano erupts. The Young Explorers experience the force of nature firsthand. The expedition moves on from India to the Himalayas. The Himalayas, the roof of the world. This time the Pangaea doesn't sail from coast to coast. Mike Horn and the Young Explorers have to go on foot to an altitude of 6,000 meters.
We've just reached Concordia Base Camp, to one of the most spectacular views that any one of us have ever seen. There's simply no words to describe.
Steep paths, thin air. While climbing in the Himalayas at more than 5,000 meters, every step becomes an experience to the personal limit.
I'm pretty tired because walk at 5,000 meters is very tiring. With a slow path you can walk for a long distance, so we will see.
The young explorers don't get much time to rest. They move on in the middle of the night. They climb up to an altitude of 6,000 meters. Why Mike Horn and the young explorers are going to such extreme heights is that he can show them how small the oxygen zone on the Earth really is.
We made it! And the view is incredible. We did it together.
Victory at all. It was something that you were going to think about and you're going to talk about for the rest of your life.
On their way down to the base camp, the young explorers take measurements and make recordings in supporting research about the development of the glaciers in the Himalayas. The Pangaea expedition will continue until 2012, and the young explorers will still contribute hugely in saving our planet and carry the Pangaea message back to their home countries with them.
They are my kids. They are my ambassadors. They will save the planet, not me.